Isaac Peach, welcome to my podcast.
Thanks for having me, man.
Mate, it's so good. This is the first time we've actually met, but I feel like I know you from seeing you through different bits and pieces and also hearing a lot about you through our mutual friend Mea Motu. She's actually said a lot of quite offensive things about you, which we'll get to the bottom of today. First of all, before we get into the meat, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul.
I hate everything about that fight. I hope Mike Tyson's all right. I think he could get knocked out by Jake Paul because he's 58 years old, and I think it's ridiculous. And I think 58, I just hope he doesn't. I hope Mike Tyson knocks him out, but I really worry that he gets hurt in that fight, to be honest. Jake Paul's an athlete now. That's the problem, and he's 26.
Does experience count for nothing?
Experience counts for stuff, but I don't know. I think age does too, man. 58, come on. I'm 42 and I struggle. 58. I know he's Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson was quitting fucking when he was 42. He was done. So 58, I think it's dumb.
Yeah. Okay. Who is Isaac Peach?
Fuck, I don't know if I know that. I don't know, man. Probably a guy that loves his family and loves his kids more than anything. And I do a shitload of boxing now.
Yeah. From what I know about you, which is very limited, it's mainly through word of mouth stuff from other people, a dude with a big heart and a dude that's fiercely loyal.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So he was a fighter. Now he's thought to be the best boxing trainer in New Zealand.
I don't know, man. You're only as good as your last fighter. Yeah. Whatever labels don't mean much to me, but I mean, our gym's trying to do something that hasn't been done, and that's to hit guys on the world stage consistently. And I think we're getting there. So, yeah.
So you were quite a fighter yourself. 13 fights, 12 wins, one loss by split decision.
Yeah, I fought as amateur for years, and then I fought those pro fights. But I mean, yeah, I'm not big on my fighting. My kind of life is me being a trainer now, and I don't really, to be honest, never go back to my days as a fighter. I mean, yeah. In
terms of like talking about it, or
yeah, I just think
revisiting.
When I fought, I felt like it was different. I mean, we just drank piss. It was just I was a terrible alcoholic. I was tough as mentally, and I don't know. If I was in my gym, I'd kick me out. So I don't let any of my guys do anything that I used to do.
Yeah, this is definitely. We can get into that later. This is something that Mea Motu has talked about you. She said when she knew you in the early days, you'd turn up and you'd usually have a ciggy out of your mouth, reeking of piss. But it seems like you were there's that term that's thrown around, functioning alcoholic. But it seems like you never missed training, you never missed a fight. You burnt the candles at both ends. I guess that's another saying. Was it a fair assessment?
Yeah, I used to win everything in the gym. I used to make sure I was determined to, I think, because I was probably frowned upon for acting how I used to. Used to smoke 20 plus a day and drink every day and still be relatively successful, which I think is stupid now, but back then, yeah. And you are a functioning alcoholic and mentally I was strong, so, you kind of get shit done, but nowhere near to where you could have got shit done. Yeah.
So who was Isaac Peach as a young guy? What were you like? Were you angry? Did you have like a chip on your shoulder about something?
No. I had good parents. I'm one of six kids. I'm the oldest. I'm very, I don't know, a bit crazy when I was young, I suppose. Was into a bit of everything, but just a normal kid. Yeah, I love sport. Played every sport. I still do love sport. Love rugby league, love rugby. I love every sport.
Where did the love of boxing come from?
That came later. I didn't start boxing until I was probably 18. And I think I always I think everyone sort of likes boxing or violence in a sense, right? And I went and watched a fight and went to a gym and that was the end of it. Yeah,
but I think most of us, I don't know. I really enjoy watching like these combat sports, but I couldn't think of anything worse than getting in a ring. Yeah. Like it would just scare the shit out of me. Like best case scenario, you win. not a pleasant scenario. You get humiliated, like knocked out early. Worst case scenario, something bad happens to you, like to your physical health. Like it scares the shit out of me.
There's nothing like it. I don't think there's anything in the world like combat sport, boxing. I suppose MMA. That's the same thing now. Like you're putting yourself in a very vulnerable position by doing it. So that's why people doing it properly deserve respect. And the sad thing about the sport is that people that are at the top get smoked when they lose, and people just treat them like shit. And to go to that top and try and perform in front of everyone is a massive thing. Because like you say, you've got everything, you're by yourself, and there's all these variables that can happen. And I suppose the worst one, you can die. So, yeah, I think every fighter deserves respect. Every fighter that's like doing it properly, doing it for a living, really deserves respect. Yeah.
What about your love of tattoos? Where did that begin?
Oh, fuck. It's a bit out of control. It's getting worse.
Is it? You're not finished yet. You're still. What's on? Did I see some F-bombs on your right hand? What have you got?
Oh no, that was kind of silly. That was I've got a little Muslim boy in my gym, and he used to put on his social media with a fight. Train hard, fight easy, or something. And I hate that saying because you don't fight easy or whatever the stupid saying is. So it's like you train hard, you fight hard, and you be hard. Everything has to be hard. I said, show me a tattoo today. I want it tattooed on my hand. And he's like very conservative. He's like, okay. So I don't know.
What is this like? Train hard, fight hard, be fucking hard. When did you get that done, Nick? What age?
No, not long ago. He's my 14-year-old Muslim in the gym, and he came and just, he looked at my hand and just about had a fucking heart attack. But yeah.
Did you this is my dog just coming in to join us. Hello, Bubba. Hey, come here. So did you, when you get a tattoo like that on your hand, bear in mind you're a dad of 4 now. Do you run it past your wife?
No, I never run a tattoo past my wife. But my wife doesn't care. Like my wife, that's what they got like about. She doesn't care.
Yeah. And have you got a peach? You're wearing a peach boxing hoodie. Have you got a peach boxing tattoo?
Yep.
Have you? Where's yours?
I've got a big one. I'll show you.
Yeah. Oh shit! Yeah. Wow, that is huge. Mea Motu, she's got one on her neck. Yeah, which she loves.
I got one on my wrist too, actually.
Yeah. Oh, you got 2? Yeah. Did you forget you had the first one?
No, well, that one was covered, so I thought I'd get one there as well, yeah.
So peach boxing, where did it begin? Humble beginnings, right, on the deck in your house?
What happened? I had a deck in Sunnyvale, and I started training my brother. So my brother was an amateur. I kind of gave it away, and he wanted to keep going, so I kind of trained him a little bit. And we basically had a deck that was on a slant, and we put ropes around it, and we had a couple of bags. So
it was like a makeshift sort of boxing ring?
Yeah, just on a deck. And then Jerome was my next door neighbour. That's my
Jerome Pampelone, one of the best boxers in the country at the moment.
Yeah, so he was my next door neighbour. So, I don't know, we probably had 2 or 3 of us. He came over, and that was the beginning. We were fighting out of a deck, and then we moved house. Not too far away, and we had a single garage, so we built like a pergola, like a clear light sort of pergola. We just built that, hung bags in it, and had a single garage with rope around it, concrete floor. And that's when it started getting more serious, but we still, we had good fighters. We had David Light there, Jerome, Andre was there, and we all just trained out of this shitty little garage with kind of old bags, and when it rained, you got wet.
So the deck scenario in Sunnyvale, how long ago was that? What are we talking?
Oh, I don't know, 2013?
Right. Okay, so like 10, 11 years.
Yeah, and that would have been for probably 3 or 4 years. And then we had the other place for probably same, I guess.
And was it called Peach Boxing in the beginning, or you didn't have a name? Or
we didn't have a name to start with. I think should we call it Sunnyvale Boxing? We didn't really have a name. I don't really know how that all came about, that side of it, yeah. So
the story about Jerome Pampelone, it's hilarious, really. So he's just a neighbour.
He's a neighbour that can hear us training, so he comes over and asks to train.
So he wasn't a boxer at that point?
Never thrown a punch like as a boxer in his life, yeah.
And Yeah, so it's odd, right? That's odd.
Yeah.
So why did he just want to hang out because he liked?
No, he just wanted to come over and go. He was playing rugby, you reckon, and he wanted to get fit. So coming to go, I chucked him in a few fights, and it's addictive. So yeah.
And there's a big difference between going to your neighbour's place and hanging out with the boys. Sparring a bit on the deck to actually like getting in a ring and having there's a difference between like whacking you on the pads to actually getting in a ring.
I've never been one to want to train people. I hate that. I don't like training people for nothing. Like I don't like, if you're going to come over and go, let's play boxing. I don't want to play boxing. I'd rather do something else.
So you just send them to Les Mills if they
yeah. So if you come to my house, you're going to be booked to fight real quick. And I've done it to everybody. Like, I just make you fight. Fuck off.
That's if I was your business development manager, I'd say that's a terrible business model, and you should be trying to get some of that corporate money.
Yeah. No, I just hate it. I really do. I've never done a one-on-one in my life, like a personal training thing ever. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, this is the definite impression I get about you. You care. You've got a big heart. You're very loyal. You care about your fighters. You all want them to reach their potential, which in most cases is like world champion level, and you're just not driven by the money at all.
I'm not. My money helps. We're getting to a stage where we really need money, but my love for success for my guys is massive, and it's real rewarding, and that's why I do it. I just have no passion for getting people fit and doing that sort of stuff. I really have a passion for the top level. It's a really rewarding place, but it's like a real high and lows. Your highs are huge and your lows are really low.
In terms of the sport?
In the sport. Yeah. When the higher you get, the harder it gets, and the bigger the highs and the bigger the lows. So I thrive off that, I think. It's like a drug. Those highs are like a drug. And then those lows make the highs so much more.
Yeah, because it seems like there's so much so much importance in boxing put on that win-loss record, eh? Like
everything, man. Stupid. I hate the fact that they do that, but it's everything.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think the Mayweather thing, when he did his 50-0 and it became a thing. I think before that it wasn't so important. I mean, you need to build your record and it's all part of it, but there is now, if you lose, it's a long way back. It makes it really difficult and expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you just have to look at like the trajectory of Joseph Parker's career, right?
Yeah. But he's done amazing, man. He looked like he was done a few years ago. He's on top of the world, man. He's doing amazing stuff. Yeah,
what has happened to Joseph Parker? Like from someone that's got some good boxing knowledge, is it just teaming up with Andy Lee and George Lockhart? Is that what's made the difference? Or?
Yeah, it had to have helped. I mean, it's attitude, and he took a big fight and he won. He fought Deontay Wilder, and he beat him every round, I thought, pretty much. So that's why. I mean, he did amazing. He had to win that fight. If he had got knocked out in that fight, he's probably finished. But he took the risk, and if you take the risk, the rewards are huge, and they are. And now he's beaten that Chinaman, and good luck to him.
Yeah, how good.
On a roll.
And so what about you? So when did the plumbing come into your life? Because that's another thing. Just so Jerome Pampalone, the neighbour who heard you fighting, so came over to see what was going on, and is now one of the best fighters in the world. He also works with you as a plumber.
Yeah, he's just quit on me. I've always been a plumber, so right through my boxing and everything, I always worked for people as a plumber, and probably, I don't know, around when I got married, which is probably 11 years ago or something, I started a business. It was just me. So I was a maintenance plumber. And then Jerome, he was going to be a mechanic, which I thought was a dumb idea because he'd be stuck under under a car all day. And I said, why don't you try plumbing? So I got him a job with someone else, but that didn't really work out. So I ended up with him, basically, by default. And he was a terrible plumber. He's a bit better now. But so, it's just been me and Jerome for like the last 7 years, plumbing. And he's just given it away to focus on boxing, which is time to do that. Like till a couple of months ago, he was full-time plumber. So you got his qualification. The deal was you got to get qualified, and then,
right. Yeah. So do you? The impression I get is that you sort of have the plumbing to basically fund your side hustle or hobby, whatever you want to call it, which is peach boxing. Yeah,
the plumbing's been awesome, man. Plumbing's bought me everything I've ever. Plumbing's great.
You still enjoy it?
Yeah. I've never liked it until now. And now the boxing's getting so serious and stuff. And like I said, you got big highs and lows. Coming home and crawling under a house and fixing a pipe is quite nice. Sounds weird, eh? I used to hate it, but now it's like, fuck, nothing to worry about, man. Just no one to talk to, just go and do a little bit of plumbing. It's actually quite nice, to be honest.
Has that changed since you've had kids? Like, you've got 4 quite young kids. So is it just the peace and quiet and the serenity of being under a house on your own?
Nah. I hate being by myself. That's one thing about me. I do hate being by myself.
Yeah.
But I think the plumbing things, it's just normal life sometimes. Sometimes you go overseas or you do like a big fight. There's so much plastic bullshit. From the outside, things look really cool, but it's a lot of hard work and you deal with a lot of dickheads. And just coming home and to normal life is nice. I like that.
Yeah, I do get that impression about you, that you've got a strong bullshit detector. But like, from a plumbing perspective, like, how do you handle like the invoicing and you're dealing with clients and things like that?
I do with mostly real estate agents, so
right.
I deal with them, but I handwrite all my invoices, take a photo and send it to my brother's missus, who's my office lady, because I can't even use a computer.
Yeah.
I'm like in the 60s. So seriously, I can't type, I can't do anything. So I handwrite everything and I photo it, so it works. And even my books for when people get paid in that, I write like the address and the amount of money and I tick it off when they pay, like old school stuff. But that's what happens when you don't do much at school, I guess.
Yeah, when did you leave school? Did you leave quite early or?
We just didn't do anything. I went to Kelston, which was a sports-orientated school. So school was a boys' school, but it was fun. It was fun. There was heaps of sport, you know. It was a blokey kind of school and no one really did any work regarding schoolwork, so, yeah.
Yeah, so do you think you were maybe quite smart, but you just have never sort of tapped into it, or?
I'm fucking hopeless with that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but you never sort of applied yourself.
I never applied myself, but I'd be the sort of kid that would have to work really hard to pass stuff. I failed my plumbing exam like 7 times, put it that way. I'm hopeless.
Well, no one can argue with your persistence and determination.
Got no choice.
So do you know Eugene Berriman very well?
Not well, but I know him, yeah.
I had him on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and with City Kickboxing, he described it as a gym for broken souls.
Yeah.
How would you describe peach boxing? Is that something you thought about?
Yeah, I think good boxers come from a place where they're looking for something. It's like what would you call it? I'll give you some examples. So you got someone like Mea who comes from hell, getting bashed and blah blah blah, and then you got a guy like David Light who comes from being homeschooled. His background is like homeschooled, wealthy parents. So you got them, but they're both coming to find the same thing. So David was this kid that didn't know how to relate to people and that never really been in the real world because he comes from money, and then Mea comes from shit, really. And so they find this medium. Boxing gives people that medium, you know, that
just this great leveler that they have in common.
Yeah, find what you need in that middle zone. Don't really know how to explain it, but you know what I mean? You love it, I can tell. Your eyes are almost light up when you talk about it. It's almost quite poetic in a way. So how do you make money out of peach boxing? Like, if you take the boxers overseas and they have a fight and you get a cut of the money that way, or do you charge them a fee to train? So I've got... I never used to have any people besides fighters. So peach boxing basically didn't earn any money. But now my fighters, I take a fee off the pros, which doesn't pay for much. Unless you're winning world titles, you ain't getting shit and we ain't winning yet. And we've got like a corporate sort of class at night now that has about 40, 50 members, which is really cool. It's like another community that we've kind of got. So those people pay, which helps. It's a hell of a setup you got now. I haven't been there in person, but I've seen it on YouTube. But if you can imagine, so where is it? Like at the foot of the Waitakaris? Is it in? Yeah, it's in Henderson Valley, so it's rural. We've got like an acre property, but all the neighbours is bush. Yeah, so you got your house there, and then it's like a massive sort of almost like a steel farm barn. Yeah, it's like we just bought a total span garage. Yeah, so but it's massive, right? Like the size of say half a dozen garages. Yeah, it's 210 square metres. Yeah. And I've heard you describe your style as old school.
What does that mean in like a boxing gym environment?
Well, I just think basics in that are important.
Yeah.
I just hate flash stuff. And I think, I don't know, I feel, I might be wrong, but I feel like I'm disliked by a lot of boxing people because of my kind of attitude. But my stuff is like, we're winning, yous aren't. And a lot of it, everyone wants to be flash, man. Everyone wants to be this new age. And I don't know, they want to be Russians. They want to just be a Kiwi and be basic and get your shit done and you'll succeed. And I think boxing is basic. And people are looking to complicate a pretty basic thing. And my attitude is let's get the basics really fucking right. And the higher up these guys get, the more we need these basics right. Yeah.
Where does that come from? Is that how you were raised, or is it your friend group growing up, or what?
I don't know. I mean, I had a lot of different training. I made my own way through the boxing with my ideas and stuff. I see a lot of stuff I don't like. I think in life you learn more of what you don't like than more, you know. I wouldn't want to do that. I don't. Yeah. I've got my sort of boxing philosophies and how I want to do stuff, and I'm open to getting better. And I have been lately going overseas and trying to get better.
How do you mean get better? Get better at?
More I did be a better coach.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's important for coaches to always be trying to get better. As soon as you're not, you're kind of where you're at.
So do you have to deal with like negotiations and stuff with other promoters and?
Yeah. I deal with it because I manage. Well, me and Aliana, my wife, we manage them. But yeah, I hate promoters. I don't care if they listen. They just.
But there's a lot of. It seems like there's a lot of snakes in this sport, eh? Have you?
It's hard. It's hard. I think what's hard when it comes to promoters is boxing's a real business, and the way I do it, I don't think of it as a business. You know, you do it because you love your fighters really, and they're like family. But the promoters, they're just a piece of meat, and if they don't win, they're gone. You know, it's pretty cutthroat. So I struggle with that.
Have you had anything to do with Eddie Hearn? Do you know Eddie Hearn?
I've only had one dealing with Eddie Hearn, and it wasn't good. That was regarding Mea. So we're dealing with him again soon. So Mea's got a big fight coming up at the end of the year, and it's Eddie Hearn's girl.
Wow.
But they're making it really difficult. Those guys, I mean, you can't blame them because Mea's not Eddie Hearn's girl, so he wants to fight his own girls to keep it all in-house kind of thing. So they kind of change dates and make life difficult for me. And I don't have much of a say. Like, if you're ringing the IBF or the sanctioning bodies, Eddie Hearn's paying a lot of money. They don't care so much about me if we have an argument. Yeah.
Well, you look at like David Higgins had to work very hard to get Joseph Parker in there, didn't he? It's yeah. Let's talk about Mea for a bit. So you've been instrumental, not just in her career but in her life as well. So Mea starts boxing early on. Like, this is pre-marriage. So you've known Mea for how long?
What is it? Nearly 30 years.
30, yeah.
Yeah, nearly 30 years.
So when you first meet Mea and she starts boxing, she's like in her late teens?
Nah, she would have been 14.
14?
Maybe.
Okay. So is this when you've got a rope section on your back deck?
No, shit, no. This is years before that. So I'm like 21. Yeah, I had a rope section on my deck. That's like, I'm 32.
Oh, okay.
You know? Yeah.
So you just happen to be at the same gym or something? Okay.
We trained at the same gym.
Right. And what are your memories of her back then, like a young Mea?
Mea was choice. Mea was just a young married girl. We were in like a flash, like the gym was kind of flash, all kind of flash people, so I didn't fit at all. And she kind of didn't fit. I was like, she don't look like she fits. That ain't either. I'll hang out with her. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And then, did she seem like a good boxer back then? Or?
She was.
Yeah.
She was a good boxer, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, so then she just sort of falls off the radar and she gets married. And you don't, you see each other in passing over that time, or you don't?
In passing, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was those years I didn't see her. Probably, I don't know. I shouldn't say that, but she came to one of my engagement parties, which wasn't my wife.
One of them. How many were there?
Well, there's a few. It has to be. Yeah, she came to that. I did see her, but not as much.
You saw her around. So Yeah, and I mean, it's been well documented. Like I've had her on the podcast, and she did a piece with Sunday, the TV show.
Yeah.
She got married, and it was like a horrible decade, like an unimaginably horrible. So did you see her around, or did she sort of like try and avoid you over that time?
Yeah, I didn't see her around. I didn't know the extent of anything that was going on. I actually saw her. I still can see it. I saw her. I can't remember where it was, but she was with her mum, and she had a neck brace. And that I think was the last time she'd been bashed really badly, and it wasn't good. So that was quite shocking. But that was probably right at the end. But I didn't know what was happening.
So when you see her with a neck brace on, like what's your interaction? What do you say or do?
Oh, fuck, me and her are straight up. Who the fuck did that to you? They beat him around the bush.
Was she truthful with you?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And then what? What do you say? Fuck, girl, get it. You got to get out of there, or?
Yeah, I think it was done. I think. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. He might have been in jail. I don't know.
Yeah. So then, is that sort of how you reconnected?
No. It was ages again after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like how much longer are we talking? Like a couple of years, or?
Yeah, easy.
Right.
She came to my house. It would have been way after that. She came to my house. She knocked on the door with her kids and was just standing there. My missus was like, "Who the fuck is this?" And I was like, "Yeah, hey, Mea."
Also, Aliana, your wife, and Mea had never met.
Not really.
No.
And then because that would have been probably 3 or 4 years ago. She had a brand new baby and a 1-year-old. So we had dinner, had feeding, and yeah. She said she wants to get fit, so I gave her basically a training session, turned her pro, and the rest is history.
You've accelerated past a lot of the story in like about 8 seconds there. It's been a hell of a partnership, and I mean you're incredibly humble about it, but like the impact you've had on her life is like I don't know, almost like a North Star or whatever you want to call it. It's it's been incredible, and she definitely doesn't take that for granted. She even yeah. It's quite funny. I've done some public speaking things with her. We do some Q&A events, and every time I do it, she sort of comes out with a new like surprise detail about one of the beatings that happened over that decade. It was fucking horrendous, like just unimaginable horror. And then last time I saw her, she told me that her attacker, her ex-husband, he's out of jail now, and he like stalked her in a car one day. And I said to her, Mea, did you go to the police or anything? And she was like, oh, no, it was just sort of funny. And then I told Isaac about it, and Isaac was like, Mea, that's not fucking cool.
Yeah, no, we dealt with it now, but yeah, it's not cool. It's like the last chapter of that story for her is now because he is out of jail. But he won't be going near her again.
So when she knocked on your doorstep and came to you with her kids and said, I want to get fit, you said quite early on that you think she had it in her to be a world champion.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing I said.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to muck around. Like I said, I just don't have any drive unless they're going to be fighting. So, yeah, and I knew she would fight. I mean, me as a fighter. So even though she says she's not going to, she's going to. So, yeah. And yeah, we made the plan. I just start chucking them in fights so they don't have time to think. And, yeah, she's a world champion. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a reward. I mean, that's the cool part about coaching. That shit's rewarding. Like the life change, and it is a bit of a Cinderella story, that one. Like it's out of it. How it's only been a year, man, since she like won the world title, and the change. Like she was on the benefit a year ago, and now she's going real good. She's public speaking. She's she's this confident woman, paying her own bills. Kids are fucking proud of her. It's pretty cool.
Well, she came here and sat on the chair you're in like maybe 15 months ago, and back then she ended up coming on maybe she came with Liam Lonergan, but we had to reschedule a couple of times because she wanted to come with either you or your wife as like a support person. Now she's fine, like she doesn't need it.
Yeah. Well, because back then she was vulnerable, man, and she couldn't, and she was really naive. She was like an 8-year-old. You know what I mean? Like she just didn't have those life skills to. Vulnerable.
But that's so recent.
It's amazing the change in a year. That's what I'm saying. if we told, like, people wouldn't believe it when they see her now, like, how it was.
Mm.
And she's doing it. And she's been more amazing every day, you know, like, she's growing as a person every day. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's so cool and just so unaffected by her level of fame and the money she's got coming in. Like, if you saw her, you'd still think she's got like $0 on the bank account. Like, she's just got no sort of appreciation or want for anything or care for the money that she's bringing in.
She's just enjoying her life, but so she should, you know. I tell you something that was funny. Last week was what are the women All Blacks called?
The Black Ferns.
The Black Ferns.
Yeah.
They asked Mea to give out the jumpers for the Black Ferns. And it was about a year ago. I think she won the world title. And we asked Ruby Tui's manager if Mea and Ruby Tui could do some media together because it would be good for Mea. And they're like, oh, sorry, but she's not famous enough. And then this year, a year later, Mea's giving Ruby Tui her jersey as the special guest. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, in 1 year.
That is great.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and even a couple of weeks ago, she did like a hype-up speech to the Chiefs at one of their trainings midweek. How are you finding all this stuff as like a distraction in terms of her training and things like that? Like, how you've managed to fitting everything in?
I'm just letting her run with it and enjoy it. She's got a fight in 10 weeks now, so I'll start clamping down a little bit. But I just want to see her smiling and enjoying life, man. That's what it's about with her, is just go enjoy it, go do everything. Some people will be like, shit, she should be doing it. Who cares? It's only boxing. Go enjoy it, you know. She'll win.
But she's one of the most happy and positive and grateful people that I think I've ever met. You know, it'd be easy for her to have a chip on her shoulder because she's been, you know, through what the adversity she's been through. But I've just never seen her anything but completely happy. You? Yeah,
I think, but also, I think you got to be careful of that because I think people like that, they definitely have the
crashes.
Times and there's stuff, and like you're saying with the ex-partner recently and getting out of jail and stuff like that, it's always there. So you've got to always kind of be there if needed, in the sense that they can talk to you, or you know, or my way, I'm always asking them questions.
Do you think she wears like a good mask? Like she's like good at pretending?
You don't go through all that shit and it just disappears.
Yeah.
You don't. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So, but she's one of the most genuine people around, man. You know, so yeah, things will just get. I mean, look, things get easier. Time heals.
Yeah.
So, and it hasn't been that long. So.
Yeah. I agree. There's bound to be like some PTSD or scarring there. What about her relationship with your son Zen? How old is Zen?
Zen's 9.
This is the hilarious relationship because you're sort of her head coach, but I feel like Zen is sort of like your understudy.
Yeah.
How would you?
I don't really know. Like, it's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool. Like, Mary and Zen are just like best mates, so they have been for ages. And he started sort of joining in with the training, and then he just kind of got obsessed with it, to be honest. I mean, he loves boxing. He's training himself. He's helping train their team and stuff like that. But he's got this real thing for Mea. He loves Mea. And he goes to all the media stuff. And I don't know, they're just like old buddies. And yeah, he does coach her. Like, he really helps her. And we've got to make sure he's saying the right stuff now because she listens to him. So it's important. But I think he's just like a mate too. He's someone that just hangs out with her with no baggage because he's so young. And she likes that. And he just adores her.
Yeah, and he takes it really seriously as well,
he's
doesn't
really serious, yeah.
Like she told me, he calls her in the evening for like a chat, and what sort of discussions are they having? What advice is he giving her?
I don't know. I don't even know. I get left out these days. Oh, yeah, I don't know.
That's funny. She had a fight. She said so many fights, but one recently, and she won. And he was like sobbing uncontrollably in the ring afterwards. What was that?
I think it just all got too much for him. Like, he's quite sensitive, Zen, and me and my wife argue about it a lot. Like, it's a lot for a young kid to kind of do, and he gets a lot of cool shit out of it. But it's quite stressful and stuff, you know. And he's in the corner, and I think he's just crying because it just all emotionally was too much. It wasn't because she didn't go well; she did great, but yeah, it's a lot for a young kid, and we still kind of discuss it regularly, and she yells at me that it's my fault, and I yell at her that it's her fault. But I think it's a wonderful thing at the same time. It's just making sure he's not getting too old too quick, I guess. Yeah. But he gets some amazing things with him. Mia's amazing with him, you know. Mia's awesome with him, so there's no problem there.
Oh yeah, no, and it's not just like it's not just a pity thing. Like it's not like, oh, it's the coach's son, I better humour him. Like she really respects the job that he does.
Yeah. Like I said, they're just old mates. They really are. They are. It's cool.
Yeah, so you got 4 kids. Is he the eldest of the 4?
Yeah, he's the eldest. He's
right.
What's he, 9? I've got a 7-year-old boy, a 6-year-old girl, 2.5-year-old boy.
It makes sense that he would have gravitated towards this because through his entire life, like your dad's been boxing and training boxers at home.
But so back to the Mea and Zen thing is like Mea's been around in my house. Like Mea's at home every day. Mea's lived in my house when she's needed to for periods of time. So she is completely part of the family. Mea comes and goes as she wants. There's always a bed there for her, or you know what I mean? So she is family. So as much as they've got that bond, which is great, it's not just this random connection. Like she's, you know what I mean? She's lived in our house, and she's been in our house more than anyone else.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's talk about the personal stuff for a second. There's a Women's Weekly story that came out last November. By the way, is this the first time you've been in Women's Weekly?
was that with my family?
Yeah.
No, it was actually not.
Oh, really? Yeah. You're a regular.
No, I did a...
Did they airbrush your tattoos off, or...?
Yeah, they did that one. No, the other ones, they actually were nice, and they like messaged, do you mind if we take that off? No, I was in the women's... I'm sure it was a women's week with my brother. Who fought on the Fight for Life.
Oh, that's right. So your brother...
Jesse. So my brother's gay, and they did a thing on... And the way it was written, you couldn't have it like that these days. But yeah, so my brother's gay, and it was kind of on his gay art exhibition or something, and me training. It was this, I don't know, story. But that wasn't the first time I was in there.
Yeah, so your brother Jesse Peach, he's... I think he works in media in the UK at the moment, but he's big in the theatre scene. He was on News Hub for a while. He even had a part on Shortland Street once.
Yeah, that's true.
And he did one of those Fight for Lives, and he fought Shelton, who was in the band Blind Spot. Yeah.
So they wanted to do an article on that because they were like, I don't know, they're trying to work out how me and him are brothers and how we're friends. But actually, me and Jesse are real good friends. He's a cool dude.
You're very, very different though, eh? You can see why they were interested in the story.
On the surface, there's a lot of differences, but I think we're quite similar in a lot of ways as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we're into completely separate stuff with the boxing and the art and that, but I really like him.
How did that fight go? So he got
smashed.
Yeah.
Hopeless. It was never going to work. I didn't want him to do it. It went exactly how I thought it was going to go. But they were paying him, and he was going, English, I'll take the money, I'll throw the towel in.
All right, so you sort of like trained him a little bit.
I trained him for it. I didn't want him. My mum said I had to. I was like, there's no way. Like, he's going to... Yeah. But yeah, he got paid enough to go to England and carry on, so that was fine. He didn't get hurt.
Okay, so that was your you except for like big gloves, don't they?
No. Yeah, bigger than Yeah.
Okay, so that was your first time in the Women's Magazine. Second time came a story last November with your wife Aliana. And she talks about how you guys met and how she, in her words, it was the opposite of love at first sight.
Yeah, it was. She was she was a receptionist at my gym. So she kind of, it was like, I don't know, it was on the shore, but it was like quite a tough guy's kind of gym. I didn't like it. So I came from west all the way to the shore, and they're all like bouncers, and they're all their friends. So I just walk in and look at her, like push the button, let me in. And there was nothing for about 6 months.
Yeah, she says you didn't even like sort of talk to her or acknowledge her for like 6 months. What are your recollections of that? What's your side of the story?
It was pretty true.
But did you think she was like attractive, or you?
No, not really.
No.
Nah, I didn't like. They had bad attitude, the people in the gym, so I was just sort of grouped there with that. And I was like, fuck it, I'm coming to do my training and I'm leaving. I probably had a bad attitude by the sounds of it too.
Oh, you were still drinking then?
Yeah, I was still drinking then.
Yeah. Oh, you mentioned before your numerous. How many engagements did you have before you found the right one?
She was my third time lucky.
Third.
Yeah.
So what happened to so you didn't get married?
No, none of them I got married.
So 2 engagements.
Yeah.
What happened with those?
Oh, one was young, that
Yeah.
didn't last long, and then the next one, they lasted a few weeks, I think. But I don't know. I was with them for a while, and I don't know.
Well, it's good that you waited because everything worked out good. So after 6 months of seeing Aliana every other day and not speaking, and her thinking you're an arrogant jerk, what happens then?
Oh, I think I probably liked it a little bit then. But, my coach was real, John Mackay, he died recently actually, John, and he used to yell out at me like, "Don't you go for near the woman in this gym," and blah, because I'd always been a ratbag no matter what it was. And I think we went to Aussie, and I said to him, and I asked her out on a date. I thought, well, I'm going to ask her out. It was more to get at him than to take her out. And she said yes, and I remember taking her out, and I wasn't drinking. I hadn't stopped drinking, but I didn't drink, and I took her out. I was driving, and she just got hammered. She just kept drinking. Oh, it's cost me a fortune. I was like, fuck this.
Oh, so you weren't drinking that night because you were like sober driving?
No, I had like I tried to give up drinking, and I had like 6 months off.
Yeah.
But then she made me fall back on. I blame her. Nah, and so that's how we met. I took her out, and then we've all been together ever since.
Yeah. Well, how good was it? So like, when you started, dating each other, was it sort of like love at first sight from that moment? Like,
I don't know. It was weird. I had a fight. It was on David Tua versus Monty Barrett.
Wow.
And I wasn't meant to win. And they were paying $2.5 grand, and she was going to go to Japan. We'd only been together a couple of months. I said, if I win, I'll give you the money, and I'll come to Japan. I'll meet you over there. And I won. So that was it. I flew to Japan 4 months later, and they already had like a ring ready for me to propose to. It was like a setup. I proposed to her, and then a year later we got married, and the rest is history.
Yeah, well, and it's incredible what you guys have done. So you got 4 kids under the age of 10.
Yeah.
You got the plumbing business and this peach boxing business, which you both run together. She's got a big part in that, right?
Yeah, well, she's more full-time than me now, to be honest. Yeah.
So it's cool. It's a cool partnership.
Yeah.
Was she... So you said you had like an abstinence period with drinking, and then she got you started again. Did she ultimately get you stopped, or did you decide you had to stop for yourself?
No.
Or
Things got really bad, so I gave up boxing, and then things were bad. So, but me and her were like real good drinking buddies. So I'd go everywhere with her, but we'd get hammered. We'd go out 5 days a week. It was fun. We'd fly overseas to drink. But then we had kids, and I carried on, and she stopped, and I'd drink every day, and it was just got worse and worse. And then pretty much she left, and I decided to stop. And I haven't drunk now for 7 years now.
Yeah. How bad was the drink? Were you drinking for a reason? You know how a lot of people are drinking because they're trying to...
I think I was bored.
Right.
I was always a bad drinker, don't get me wrong, but I always had something to maybe stop for a bit for, or not drink in the week because you got a fight coming up, or suddenly you didn't have that.
So you did have that sort of discipline where if you had something on, you could stop.
But I think with the addiction, it got worse and worse as I got older. So by the end of my boxing career, it would be like I won't drink for 10 weeks. By the end, it was like I won't drink for 4 days. It was stupid. But yes, I think not having boxing's a big hole, so you just got heaps of time to drink. Like I said, me and her did it together, but then she stopped, and I just couldn't stop.
So how bad was it? So you'd go do plumbing for the day, then you'd get home and...
drinking, everything was around drinking. So I'd get up in the morning and I'd go plumbing, and I'd work really hard till lunchtime, and then I'd be in the pub by 12:30, and then I'd come home by, I don't know, anything between 3:30 and 5, try and pretend I
hadn't been
drinking all that time. But this was a daily occurrence. It was like maybe I wouldn't do it on Monday. You know, like,
how were you getting home? Were you just
driving?
Yeah.
Terrible. Yeah, drink driving. Drinking leads to all those other bad habits.
What other bad? Were you on gear as well? Or
not so much. I'm not saying I didn't take drugs, because I did, but during the day you didn't need to. The only time I was an alcoholic, so if I ever took drugs, it was to enhance my drinking.
To keep you sober so you could keep going for longer.
I was never ever a drug addict. But yeah, I mean, of course, I think drinking opens you up to all sorts of stupid shit.
What was were you a beer guy, a wine guy?
Yeah, no, I was a beer guy.
Yeah.
And I used to love it. I did used to love it. I thought I loved it. You know, I was a bender guy. I'd just carry on.
I think I read somewhere or I heard in another podcast you had like a 7-day bender.
Yeah, that was dumb.
How is that even doable? That's crazy.
You got enhancements to do that. Like, I'm just about to die. Talk about depression when you finish that. Fuck. It's like going to hell and back. Yeah. But I think, I don't know, man. I don't miss it now at all. Ever. And some of the shit. I mean, nothing good comes out of drinking. Nothing good. And my life's been so much better without it.
Yeah, has it?
The amount of shit you get done now, like, I couldn't fit it in. I was like, where the hell would you fit in having a beer? Yeah.
So you're 35 when you quit. Did you try, how did you quit? Did you try rehab or anything?
I tried rehab. I'd been trying to quit for ages, so life was shit for ages, and I've tried little bits of rehab, little bits of this, but didn't do it for me. Things would put me off every time, and then you just relapse. And I remember my wife had, was it CADS or something I went to, and then they said I could drink. They limited my drinking. I thought, this is fucking the best thing I've ever heard.
Was it one of the rehab things?
Well, the rehab things. I'll stay here.
I'm just trying to ease you off.
Bring your card back and say, here you go, babe, I've been at rehab, but I'm allowed to drink. I'm allowed to have 12 beers a week, so I'm going to have all 12 right now.
It's a strange disease, isn't it? Because it's like, you even said before your life was shit, but it's like, you think, well, if your life's shit, why can't you just stop? But it's not as easy as that.
Can't stop, man. That's people don't get that haven't got it. It's an addiction, and it preys on you. And when you do try and stop, that's when you just... I remember when I stopped, you make excuses. I'd be like, oh, what about if we just drink when we're on holiday? Because there's no way we could go on holiday without drinking. You just, in your brain, it's not possible. So as soon as you start making those deals, you're looking at flights. Like, it's a real disease. You know what I mean? You want to go on holiday.
Let's go on holiday now.
I got to fucking drink. But it all gets easier. The first year's hell, and second year, I find you reinvent yourself into the world. That's the hard bit, because everything you've done for 20 years, you've been drunk to a certain point. I used to referee boxing on TV, and I'd be drunk. People wouldn't know that, but like, wow, that was great. I'm fucking 8-9 beers down. So it's just what you did. But you could function, but try and do, but then you become sober, you feel like you can't do anything, because that's your false confidence you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that second year, you go through your shit first year where you still want to drink hard out. The second year, you got to come back to the world. And no one's nice to you. Like, it's crazy. No one's like, well done. Everyone's like, why the fuck aren't you drinking? Do you want to, it's bizarre. You don't get supported. You get people look at you different. Like, why are you not having a beer?
Oh yeah, it is strange. It is still
annoys
strange.
people.
It's the only because I think they feel like they've lost one of them.
And your phone doesn't go. So your phone goes. Everyone rings you because you're life of the party. Suddenly, no one rings you. So it's quite lonely. That first year is lonely because you got no mates. Because your whole life revolves around who you're meeting at the pub, or you know what I mean.
So how did you quit in the end? Did you just sort of white knuckle it?
No, I was actually at a boxing camp, and I was always the one that, it's finished, let's get some beers. It was probably 11 in the morning. Drunk for about 3 or 4 hours, and I remember we had like a rugby league reunion or something, and we'd bought tickets to it, and I was taking my wife, and we had it all babysitters, and I turned up home, and half my shit was gone. And while I was drinking, she'd left, so I was like, yeah. So that was it, and I thought, I'm going to have to give it up. So I didn't give it up. I went on a serious bender. I thought, let's have one last crack. Let's have one last, about 3 days. We're going to do 3 days, and then I'm going to ring her and cry for help. That's the truth. So we had one last crack at it, and then, told her I wouldn't drink, which she didn't believe, obviously, because we'd done that.
Time and time again.
I gave up. So I gave up my 2 addictions were cigarettes as well. And I gave up that at the same time, so it was pretty tough for a while. So she came back on the promise that I wasn't going to drink, and it was just day by day.
Yeah, because I've heard you say like the first year was really tough. From a mental perspective or physical? Like, did you have like physical withdrawals or no? Just
physically yes, but mental way worse. Like, I don't know.
Or just the boredom and the tediousness of...
Well, that's where boxing came in, because I filled my time. I went mad with boxing. I just filled my life with boxing. And that kept me sober. Because everyone goes, I do it for my kids, I do it for this. What a load of shit. If you've got an addiction and you've got fucking time on your hands, you're going to struggle. You need to fill up that time. And that's what boxing did. I just threw myself head first into boxing. Yeah.
So your old friend group, are you still... Did you maintain any of those relationships? You still see some of those people? Or when you get sober, do you realise they were all sort of based around alcohol?
Yeah, I do. Like, I don't think they were false friendships. I like those people. It's just, it's really hard. You don't have a lot in common with those people because it's just different, right? And a lot of them are still drinking and stuff, and that's cool, that's fine. And if I see them or I go somewhere they're there, that's cool. But I don't have a lot of friends now. I still have a couple of, like, basically school friends, which I see way not enough. Just saw a couple on the weekend, first time in months. But I think as you get older and you have kids, we have a lot less friends. And we've got the gym at home, so we don't really have, like, couples coming for dinner or any of that shit. Like, we've got our fighters, and that are kind of our friends and our family, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, we don't really have time for that. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, to be honest. But, yeah, we don't have this big friend group that we go out with. It's not a thing. And when we get time to ourselves, it's more, we'll go out for dinner with the kids or something like that. Yeah.
So in the first year, you think about it like most days, or?
Yeah. First year.
Really? For a whole year?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how to explain it.
Fuck it, it's amazing that you didn't, that you hung tight and you didn't relapse, because, you know...
Yeah, but my wife's hard, man. She's, fuck.
Okay, so you were really scared about losing everything.
Yeah, massively. Like, she was going to leave. So I think you need that. Like, I get a lot of people, the cool thing about it is you can help people now. I'm in a place where I can help people, and there's a few people I'm talking to, like, at the moment, and you can really make a difference because you've been there, and you're not a person trying to support someone not knowing what the fuck's going on. But you need to be in fear of something, or you need to do rehab. But my rehab was coming home to the kids, knowing I'm going to lose it every day, and then filling my time with boxing, and crossing my fingers it'll get easier, and it did. And I think every day got easier.
Fucking, you've done so much. Like, you've achieved so much since you've given up. Yeah, so do you think about alcohol at all now? No.
No, I think well, some pretty shit things happened in the last year, and
we'll get to that. David?
Yeah, David, that was terrible. I just had drone loss, and it might sound like nothing, but that was a real big thing to me. Us not winning that fight. Not on drone, just it's disappointing, the highs and the lows, and but alcohol wasn't the thing I went for, so that shows me that I'm doing all right. Yeah,
and so when you reach these tough times, you're not even like, I could do with a drink right now. You're not even...
No, because I know if I do, that's it. I'm going to lose everything.
Yeah.
It won't take long.
What was harder, the drink or the ciggies?
Initially the ciggies, because that... Physically, and that fuck, you know, like smoking, you're dying for a cigarette. But long term, the drink.
Yeah.
Like, you can get over your ciggies, but your drink stays with you for a longer, deeper period of time. Ciggies, that initial body. your body shutting down.
I've never been. I
love cigarettes.
Yeah.
We should have one right now. Fucking, I think cigarettes. I hate vapors. I reckon let's smoke.
Yeah. You've still got like a smoker's voice.
I haven't smoked for 7 years. I don't know. I think it's my voice. But I love cigarettes. I love going to an old lady's house for work, and she's like 80 years old and all the curtains are yellow. She's still fine. Like, good on you, girl.
How's your mental health been over the years?
Yeah, it's good.
Has it? Yeah. Has it got better since you stopped drinking? Or you like a noticeable improvement in your mood or your state?
I think with drinking, well, for me, when I was drinking, you're drinking just to not feel shit and think things are cool. So you're kind of blocking out everything by being alcoholic, I think.
And then you feel shit the next day.
You feel shit, so you drink again. And you know, and then you feel good again.
Yeah, it's like a hamster wheel.
Yeah, it's silly. But my mental health's good, man. I'm like everyone else. Good days, bad days. I got cool shit going on in my life, and I'm lucky with my kids. My kids are all well, so I can't complain. And I think, this year's been tough regarding boxing. Boxing been real tough. But yeah, I don't know. I think you just think of what you're grateful for, and you get through every day. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not one of these big ones on, even with the people in the gym, like, oh, everyone, let's check our mental health. Now I'm all like, harden the fuck up. And if I see that you're actually got something going on, I'll pull you aside and we'll look what's going on. I don't know. I don't know how that fits with society these days, but I think for me that works more. I really do that harden up thing. I can be vulnerable and I can speak up if I need to, but I think,
Yeah, who have you got? Have you got some good friends that you can speak to if you need to, or is it Aliana, your wife, or
mostly my wife? To be
yeah,
honest. Yeah. Well, she knows me inside and out. She knows
when something's up.
if there's issues, but there's not. My sort of thing. I don't sit for more than a day. I'm real hard on myself about just getting on with stuff. So. Life's good.
Yeah, you mentioned the gratitude thing before. It's a big thing, eh? Like if you can, think of what the things that you're happy for rather than the things that you're unhappy because you don't have. Life's a lot better.
Yeah, I think the older you get, like when you're young, it's hard to think like that, and it's easy to be pissed off with the world. And I've been pissed off with the world a lot, but now I'm really try. I think it's a real positive thing to try and think of things you're grateful for, and there's a lot of people that have got shit so much worse than you, so you should almost feel guilty by moaning. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm like that.
Oh, mate, whenever I do some work with Mia, I always feel like this when I leave. It's like she's the happy and grateful person you could meet.
But then at the same time, you don't want to discredit or whatever you say it's someone else's issues, because there's still issues.
Yes.
And everyone's got their own sort of things. But at the same time, I think you shouldn't suck on shit. Like, let's get on with it. That's my attitude with a lot of stuff.
Are you particularly emotional? When was the last time do you cry much?
Yeah,
what do you cry about?
I think I am emotional, actually. I am quite emotional. I do a lot of nearly cries. I get emotional when I walk out for big fights.
Do you?
I don't know why. Only in that period of walking out, I often do.
Just a sense of occasion, or?
Yeah, I think so. I don't really know. I don't know. Not on every fight or anything, but just big ones I do. A lot of kids stuff makes me emotional. Even rugby games and kids doing stuff. I don't know.
Just pride.
Yeah. But I would say I am emotional.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, so you mentioned David Light before. Let's talk about him. So he's no longer boxing, right?
Yeah.
So he had you went to Manchester together. He had a fight.
Yep.
And then not long after that, was diagnosed with a brain clot and a stroke.
Yeah. So he came home from the world title fight, and 3 weeks later he's having episodes.
So what happened in the fight?
We had a fight 3 months before the world title, or 3 or 4 months before, and it was really tough. And we won it. And we weren't meant to win, and David was the man, and it was a brutal fight. And then we got the world title fight, and we had to take it. And we all thought he was fine, and he got checked up and blah, blah, blah. And then we go to Manchester, we get massive amounts of scans, which we passed all of them. And then we got into the ring, and I could see there was something wrong. It was weird, because training camp was good. But then in the ring, I don't know what it was. So I was like, fuck, there's something not right today. And then as the fight went, he went into 12 rounds with this big punching bloody Brit, and we lost. And then we got home, and he turned up to training late, wondered what time it was, just weird shit. He was doing weird shit.
Like out of character.
Out of character. Like, David's weird anyway, but I was even weirder. And, we go, and then he was getting discharged from hospital. We'd send him to hospital, and they'd say, no, he's got delayed concussion and stuff like that. Then he had some sort of episode at night, like 2 a.m, his head was all throbbing, and rushed to hospital, and they put dye in his head and found 3 bleeds. And one of them was old, so he fought for the world title with a brain bleed, which is crazy, and went 12 rounds.
So these injuries, were they boxing related or?
They say you can't tell, but of course they were.
Yeah.
Of course they were. So they did an operation on his head and they took the bleed out. Well, no, they don't cut you open in the head now. They stick a tube up your ass or up your dick, one of the two, and it comes. But they can do it like that. It's amazing. So they take the bleed.
Actually, are you being serious?
I'm serious. Yeah. So they don't cut.
It's got to be an easier way, like through the ear or the nose, or
they don't. It's one of the. Yeah. And he had a stroke when they took it out. So we came in and he was fucked. Like he was, I don't know, like wheelchair bound, like as bad as it gets. Yeah. Real lucky not to die. So that was a big one.
Well, how is he now?
He's good. He's in Australia with Matt Mataika as one of my cornermen at the moment, actually, because I'm meant to be with Andre. But our sparring got cancelled this week, so Boaz, my brother Boaz, he's a big part of what we do as well. He's my assistant coach. Are in Australia now with Matt, so David's doing good. Like he's a big part of the gym, but he's still not right. Like he's
just like at 80%, 90% sort of thing.
Yeah. He's still not working. He's still not quite capable, but he's fucking.
But he's lucky to be alive and he's walking.
Massive improvements, man.
Yeah,
it's been a long year for him, but you know.
And so he can never like fight again or box again.
No.
God, that must leave a huge when that's something that defines you, like it did him. It's got to leave a huge hole in your life, when suddenly it's forcibly taken away from you.
Yeah, I think for him, I'd hate to be in it. Like, I think that's what was so upsetting when it happened. Is what's he thinking now? He can't even talk, you know. Like, and it's like, wow, imagine being that guy. You're on top of the world. You're this athlete fighting for a world title, and then you're sitting in a wheelchair, not being able to function. Like we had to teach, like we would go into the rehabs, we'd teach them to walk again, like help them, and they'd, you know, like they have those things you hold on to. Like it was really bad to learn everything again.
What sort of impact did that have on you?
Yeah, it was big. Yeah, I think it still is. Yeah, but Dave's my old mate. David's like, he boxed with me, so I knew David. I remember taking David on his first, Boxing New Zealand camp when he was 17. And I got pissed and we drove, he's a 17-year-old not private school, what do you call it? Homeschooled rich boy. And I'm his driver. And I'm stopping at every pub drinking all the way to this camp. I ended up getting kicked out of this camp. And that was David's thing. And we've been together ever since. But so he was, I don't know, we boxed together for years, and then when we started the new gym, he was friends with my wife because he met her there, and I don't know, so he's just like family, he's like me, it was just, and he's still there, he's at my house now 4 or 5 days a week, has dinner with us, he's part of the furniture, which is important to me, that now boxing's finished, that he's still there, you know.
Does he still like boxing, like in terms of...
Yeah, which is weird, probably weird because what happened, eh? But he's an Aussie now. He came to Jerome's fight the other week. He's going to America soon, I think, to do something, and he's got some ideas of what he wants to do, but he still loves boxing. He's still very much a part of what we're doing.
Oh, speaking of America, so you guys went to Miami together for some fight with some big Cuban dude. What happened there? Weren't you like run out of town?
Yeah.
Wasn't there some scandal there?
Yeah, we went to Miami, and it was crazy. The promoter put us there, but we had no promoter with us, and we just got ripped off and treated like shit all week. We were having punch-ups at the bloody weigh-ins and glove thing. It was terrible. And I found out my mum's better now, but she was sick. I just found out. So I found out on my way over there. So I wasn't feeling very good. So everything that was kind of bad was real bad. You know, like my behaviour wasn't the best. But it was fucking a hell of a week. And then we were in the stadium and it was all Cubans. And he's the Cuban and they're cheering, and David knocks him out first round. The crowd's just like, there's not a sound in the place. And then the father of the guy's like crying, jumps in the ring to attack us, and he's getting held. But we were smart. We parked the car, like ready to go.
Like a getaway car.
So pretty much it was like, yes, get the belts, get the gear. And it was crazy. It was like a movie. It was in like this old casino, outdoor. It was all, what do you call those fucking, what do you call those Birkin birds? My favourite birds, I can't think of what they're called. The ones that stand on one leg.
Oh, like flamingos.
Flamingos. There's like 100 flamingos. So, is that behind that here?
Oh, yeah, you got a flamingo tattoo.
Yeah. Because I said to Dave, if you knock them out, because there's like hundreds of flamingos at this outside sort of raceway hotel thing. And I said, if you knock them out inside 4 rounds, I'll get a flamingo tattoo behind my ear. Just stupid. He knocks them out first round.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a pretty crazy experience that whole week. Like, it's fun though. Looking back at it, it was fucking so fun. Like, people just purely hate you, and I don't know.
I feel like you quite used to thrive on that a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It was. Yeah, it was a pretty amazing week.
So that when he's in hospital, sort of fighting for his life, like, how do you? I mean, it's a sport that's given you so much, and you've given the sport so much. But does that sort of impact your relationship at least in the short term? Like, do you start to question what you're doing? And you do.
But we had Fight for Life on the Thursday night, and this was like the Saturday or the Sunday. So I only knew, and then Mia got wind of it, so I took her to the hospital because she refused. She was fighting for the world title for the first time, and I was like, I don't think you should see him because you won't fight. He's like, no. She said, no, fuck you, I'm not fighting unless I see him. Okay, well, you can't tell Jerome in Russian. So everyone knew David wasn't well, but not to the extent to keep it quiet. And then they won, and then I took them to see him, and it was just fucking horrendous. And then the media, and it was just shit. It was just a real shit time. And then we had to do like media conference. I had to front them, and I don't know. It was just shit. Yeah, it doesn't get much worse for me, but I don't think that I had the choice to quit. I wanted to quit.
Yeah,
to be honest.
When I had
you wonder what the fuck the point is. Like, it's only a fucking sport. You know what I mean? Like, really? Like, you do so much, and it's so much invested in your heart, and your whole life's invested. And then that happens. Like, what the fuck do we even... What's the point? Why don't we just go to England for a holiday? You know, why don't we just be a plumber and go there?
Go there and not fight.
And not fight and just go sightseeing or something. I don't know. Oh, fuck it. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, is this even worth it? Like, what is this stupid thing we're doing?
But did it make you sort of reassess the importance of what you do in terms of looking after these people and making sure they're going in there? Like,
I mean, I always did.
Yeah.
But there's only so much you can do. It just makes it harder. I mean, I had Jerome fight the other week, and we lost split decision to go to the world title, which was a huge disappointment for all of us. And but that was hard. That was a real hard fight. He's taking big shots, and it's tough, man.
It's a tough sport.
And going through the David thing just makes all that decision making even tougher. And you got to make the right decisions.
How did you get through that David stuff without like turning to ciggies or alcohol again?
It wasn't an option.
Yeah.
It's not an option for me anymore, so if that was earlier...
But if there was ever going to be a time where you relapse, like that would be...
Like I said before, like I'm done with that shit now. But if that was 4 years ago, I don't think... I think I would have fallen off the wagon probably. But that's not an option for me now. Like, nothing's going to make me drink again. Like, I made that I'm determined that nothing can make me drink again. And like you say, if anything was going to, that was going to. Yeah.
Shit, you've come a long way, eh?
But also, in that situation, for me to go drink in that situation, that would be selfish as fuck. Like, that was a big deal, and it wasn't about me. It was about David, and there's a whole lot of other people that were broken about that. You know, you got his family, for fuck's sake. You got to explain it to them. You got to face them. You got to face your own gym. All those fighters that knew him now have to fight knowing... You know, it makes everything pretty real. What
do you mean you have to face these people? It's not like it was your fault.
Yeah, but still got to face them, still the coach. You're still the leader of what you do. It's like the ship goes down, you go down with it. You're still responsible. People will always give you that, it's not your fault, it's no, blah, blah. But if you're a good coach, you take responsibility for shit, man. If you're a shit coach, you blame your fighter, you blame your stuff. So it is what it is, but I definitely will always take responsibility for that shit. And you got all your other fighters, and they've got to see it, and now they've got to get up and they've got to figure out if they want to do it. But you got to think about all of them. That David trains next to me every day, and then suddenly this happens. It's like, do you guys really want to do it? because I'm okay if they don't. You know what I mean? I don't blame you if you fucking don't. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'll be happy for none of you. So that's what you go through a little bit. Yeah.
Wow, you've come a long way, haven't you? Are you proud of yourself?
I feel like, no, I am.
I mean, you built some, you've built and you're building something really cool, I think.
I just don't feel like I'm nearly there at all. I just don't feel satisfied. I feel like I'm just starting now. I do, and I don't know where I'm going with it. People always have plans. I'm not really much of a planner. I'm more of I just find myself there, but I do work hard. Like that's one thing I do with whatever I do. I work really hard. I try and outwork the other person. Like we were saying with schoolwork and shit like that, I've never been good at any stuff like that, so I lack in a lot of areas, so I probably got to work twice as hard as everyone else. So that's one of my strengths, definitely, is I'll work fucking hard to get what I want, and I'm driven as, so I feel like things are just starting for us, but I don't know where it's going.
Yeah, I was gonna say what's next, but you just don't know.
I want world champions, and people can say they want world champions. It's a fucking hard thing to get, and I haven't got one. I've got Mea, but I haven't got a male world champion. And I've got Andre, it isn't out, it's out this week, I think, but Andre's fighting for the world title. And to get these guys to win the world title from my garage is fucking super hard. We're fighting guys that are living in altitude camps with chefs and, you know what I mean? It's laughable that we're even...
Oh, it's the most Westy thing ever.
You know, it's just crazy, but we're knocking at the door and we're going to do it. And I firmly believe Russian can win the world title, and he's going to win the world title. And it's going to be so satisfying when we get that done, you know. Fuck the money. Who cares about any of that shit? Like, that will really make me happy. And look, Eugene's done it with Israel. Look at that. That's fucking unbelievable. So it's doable.
Yeah.
Different sport, similar sort of shit. And those guys have done it. And if you look at their journey, like that wasn't all plain sailing. Everyone sees it now and go, Israel's the man. He got knocked out a few times. It's hard. Jerome's just lost, you know. We want what those guys have got, but in boxing, it's hard.
Yeah, I reckon you'll get there. I mean, there's a lot of parallels as well. When Eugene was on the podcast, he talked about this. A mate of his died in his arms in the ring, and after that, he wanted to give up coaching. And then a friend of his came and had a word and basically convinced Eugene to see that he cared about these guys and would do what he could to protect them more than anyone else. And that's what kept him in there. Yeah. For a safety thing. I feel like maybe it's the same with you.
I think being a coach is the best job in the world. I think it's the most satisfying job in the world, but it's tough. Being a coach is tough because you've got heaps of responsibility. Feels like you've got the world on your shoulders a lot of the time. And people see the results of fighting in that, but there's a lot more to it than that. And you kind of look after these guys' lives. You've got to try and, you help young people get better in life as well as boxing. And it's, I don't know, it's a rewarding thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of the work you're doing. It's bloody good. And I appreciate you coming on the pod. You don't do many of these, eh?
No, I don't know. No, not really.
Why did you say yes to this?
My wife said I had to.
Oh, did she? Oh, that's amazing. Why did she say you had to?
I don't know. You can ask her. I don't know.
Oh, how good. Oh, I'm pleased about that. I got your number off Mia. I said, I think Isaac could be a great guest. She's like, yeah, get him on. So I'm pleased we made it happen.
I'm glad I did it, man.
Yeah.
It's like anything. Once you do it, it's fine.
Well, it's cool. I mean, you're incredibly humble and very straightforward, and black and white. But it's a hell of a thing that you're building. And also from a personal perspective, like everything you've been through in the last 10 years, it's really cool. And I think a lot of people can get a lot of good from your story.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think that's what life's about. Is trying to help people and have experience and fucking things up and try to either get people out of the ditch that have already got there or prevent people from going there. Yeah.
100%. All right, Isaac Peach, thanks for coming on the podcast, mate.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me. Cheers.